I hop on my bike and go for a ride in the warm afternoon sun during golden hour. Rich, warm tones take over the Bali landscape at this time of day. I feel a gentle touch of sun and a refreshing breeze as I ride towards the water. A warm, fulfilling feeling now comes over me, an expansive feeling of deep love and appreciation for my health, for my faith, for purposeful work, for loving friends and family, a wonderful community, and a beautiful place to call home. And I think to myself, this is an experience I am truly grateful for. You might be thinking, but he's lucky. I can't do that. I have too many obligations, a job to do, a salary to earn, loans to pay off, the world to save, the patriarchy to defeat, or whatever the reasons are. I know because I once had those thoughts. I once thought these were my handcuffs too, but really, they were just my excuses. A life that you're grateful for doesn't just happen. You prioritize it, you design it, you believe yourself worthy enough to live it, and you live it with every decision that you make. Just like you chose your way into the life that you're living right now, you can also choose your way into a life that you are truly grateful for. And I understand that these decisions are not the easiest to make, and that they often require you to break free from social conditioning and expectations that others or even yourselves has of you. I get it. I too had to make these choices. No one said it's easy, but the path is there, and that is the good news. Few choose it. Will you choose a life that you're grateful for? So in this video, I'll share with you 8 ways that you too can design a life that you can be grateful for. I continue to use these 8 principles almost daily, so I know that they work. So if you're ready to dive in, then hit the like and subscribe button on your way in. I would love to have you as a part of my Now I Rise YouTube tribe. Number 1, be grateful no matter where you are at right now. You might be thinking, Samir, we just saw these incredible drone footage of you riding around this beautiful island, beautiful weather. Of course you're going to be grateful. And I would understand why you might think that. And I used to think that as well. Once I got X, then I will be happy, right? Once I get Y, then I will be grateful. Once I get more money, once I go to that destination, once I get a wife, once I get a girlfriend, whatever the thing is that will make you happy. But then you're forever outsourcing your happiness. Here's what I learned, and here's what happened in my experience that I'll share with you, because I know it is truth, which is no matter where you are at right now, can you be grateful for that? Because when you are grateful for that, whatever it is that you have right now, life will entrust you with more, but it wants to see that you are appreciating what you have right now. So if you're looking around your circumstances, and I was there too, if you're looking around your circumstances, you're saying, there's not much to be grateful for here. That is part of the problem, because there is always something to be grateful for, even if it's the roof over your head. And if you don't have a roof over your head, then it's the last meal that you had. And if you didn't have a last meal, then it's the air in your lungs. It's the very fact that you have life. Because if you have life, it means you have choices. And if you have choices, it means you have opportunity. So it's okay to start small. If you're not grateful for the smaller things, you're not going to feel grateful for the larger things. That's just a principle of life. And so when we start to feel grateful with the little things in life, that energetic alignment with joy, with expansion, with fulfillment, will change the picture around you, because more of those things that activate that feeling within you will start to come into your experience. So the feeling of gratitude, adventure, openness that I was feeling, I experienced that before I came to Bali. And because I was feeling that wherever I was, in whatever circumstances I was, the picture changed to align with the feeling that I was having inside of me before before I arrived here. Does that make sense? So it's important to have gratitude wherever we're at, because what we appreciate will appreciate, and you will see the picture change accordingly. And we see this demonstrated in Scripture as well, that gratitude is the forerunner of manifestation and multiplication, because before Jesus performed many of his healing and manifesting miracles, he looked up and gave thanks to God before the manifestation happened, not after, as we in this human experience are trained to think, but before. He would look up and thank the Father for the gift of the manifestation before it appeared. You can go back into Scripture and look up a few examples. One of them, for example, that I'll share with you is from the multiplication of the bread. He did that, and he also did that in the healing of Lazarus as well. So go ahead and open your Bible, check it out. So expressing gratitude is a forerunner of manifesting and of multiplication. Number 2, follow what makes you feel most alive. There's a part of you that knows exactly what you want to do next. Every one of us has this inner compass inside of us that is guiding us to our maximal sense of expansion and joy. And it's likely that thing that other people or even your inner voice has critiqued you on, saying, how will that make you money? You need to think about your future. What if it's unsafe? What if it's dangerous? What if you fail and lose? What if you lose all your money in the process? And so on, right? I've had many people say this to me when I started a nonprofit. How will you get paid? When I started a business. Hey, you had a family friend of the family. He started his own business. He failed and he killed himself because he couldn't handle depression, right? Every time there's a risk and opportunity involved, there's something and someone's going to pop up, even perhaps your own self, and say, this is too scary, because it doesn't know what's waiting on the other side, and it's happy with your mediocrity right now because at least it knows what mediocrity is like. But I don't know what's on the other side of this risk. So it's trying to keep you small. Each one of us has this internal compass, and when we are in tune with it, we are in tune with the divine voice within us, and this voice only knows how to call us into greatness, the absolute potential of you as a reflection of divine love. So do you trust it? Can you follow that? Can you move in this direction that makes you feel most alive? I mean, how perfect is the system that the direction that's aligned with your purpose is also going to make you feel incredible? I mean, how good is God? How good is God? Not only will you be perfected in your absolute potential, but you will feel at your fullest as you do it. That is incredible, absolutely incredible. So you demonstrate faith, trust, and courage when you move in this direction. Openness and trust and faith and movement in the direction of your higher purpose will make you a vessel through which the divine can express and move through you. Because when you are aligned with that compass, you are aligned with the divine voice. And when you're aligned with the divine voice, you are going to feel that sense of power move through you. And the feeling that comes with this is a feeling of harmony, of expansion, and peace. Peace. Mental peace, not mental anguish of, why didn't I do that? What if I miss out on this opportunity, right? They often say that the number one thing that people express on their deathbed is regret, right? Nurses convey this back to us that are alive, that are still alive. And remember, if you are alive, you have choices. And if you have choices, you have opportunity. So I can understand how this can be scary at first, as it may require some sacrifices on all that is unaligned with your purpose, but trust that greatness is waiting on the other side of this decision for you, for you. I've had to make this scary decision many times in this life, so at this point, I am absolutely blown away by the gifts that awaited me on the other side. And I can tell you right now, it's always better. It's always better than you expect. Number 3, Enjoy living at your creative edge. What are the ways that you are expressing your creativity right now? Now, a recurring theme in scriptures is how we can reflect our image and likeness of the divine through our thoughts and actions. In this way, we align our will with divine will. We submit our will to the perfect plan of the divine. God is the only source of creation. So contemplate the melody of a songbird. Contemplate the gentle slope of a mountain. Contemplate the swirls and the beauty of the Milky Way. Contemplate the bright stars, the highest of mountains, the depth of the oceans. What an extraordinary creator and what an extraordinary artist. Even God took joy in the act of creation and delighted in his great works. And we get a sense of this in Genesis when God looked over all that he made and he was satisfied, saying everything he created was very good. We have a hint into what this was like in Proverbs 8, when wisdom calls out, saying, "The Lord brought me forth as the first of his works. Then I was constantly at his side. I was filled with delight day after day, rejoicing in his presence, rejoicing in his world, and delighting in mankind." You see the words being used here, right? Brought forth of his works, delight, rejoicing, delighting, rejoicing. That repetition of these beautiful words implying that this was an act of joy. Creation was an act of joy. And then David in Psalm 139 extols the glory of God's creation when he declared, "You shaped me first inside, then out. You formed me in my mother's womb. I thank you, high God, you're breathtaking. Body and soul, I am marvelously made." What a creation! Can you also live and joyfully create at the horizon of your creative edges? Because when you do so and you center your will, your intention in divine will to be a benefit to others, then you will benefit from the creative inspiration of the divine. It will move through you as a feeling of, again, expansion, joy, and harmonious alignment. You will feel the energy and power of this movement because this is the only source material of creation that you are drawing from when you are aligned with divine will. Now, part of living your life at the edge is living a life that you consider to be an adventure. It doesn't mean you need to be going to exotic places all the time. You know, when I lived in Washington, D.C., I'd ride out in my car to little towns nearby. I would take my bike out to explore trails outside the city. I would go on hikes. I would paddle boat in the canal, in the Potomac River. I know many of you guys are shrieking right now. You touch the Potomac River water. For those of you in DC, you'll get that reference. But now in Bali, the scenery is a bit different, but the same sense of adventure is still present. So again, that feeling of adventure that I was still creating for myself in a place that one might not ordinarily associate with adventure, i.e. Washington, D.C., I was still cultivating that feeling within. I was still grateful for those experiences. And now the scenery has changed, but that same feeling of adventure, that same feeling of gratitude for this adventure is still present. Part of living at your creative edge can also be keeping your body temple healthy and physically at its peak, or striving, right, to be at the best of your potential, your physical potential. Let's reveal the proportions with which I was made. I like to get my day started at this gym near my home in Uluwatu. It's a wonderful community, and here's my gym partner, Michael, fist pounding it out.
All right, that was an excellent workout as always. Now let's get to the next point.
Speaking of community, that takes us to the fourth idea, which is surround yourself with wonderful community, friends, and family. Number 4, surround yourself with wonderful community, friends, and family. Now, when I first arrived here on January 1st of 2023, new year, new life, new country, all of that, I didn't know a single person. One of my prayers at that time was, God, surround me with the love of faith-filled people. Surround me with beautiful community. Surround me with inspiring people who are living with open hearts and genuine hearts surround me with beautiful community. And by attending events, by meeting people randomly and fortuitously, I say randomly and fortuitously, I don't really believe that. I really believe that if you have an intention and you state that intention, and you are grateful for that intention being fulfilled as if it will happen. And so as I was walking through the streets of Bali, as I was sitting in cafes, I would be sitting next to people, we would strike up conversation, or I might be inspired to attend an event. At that event, somebody notices me and says, hey, I'd like you to invite you to this other event to meet some other people in the community here that you might find inspiring. Over time, by attending these events, by meeting people, I get to know so many wonderful people here and form such valuable community. And it's incredible with all these people here from around the world. So many of us, those who are not from Bali, so many of us have left our homes and our families. And so in a way, I found that it was so easy to make connections that became like family here because everyone was so open. Everyone knows what it was like to come here with nobody. And I found that no matter where I go, it's not just about Bali. I travel a lot. I've gone to many parts of the world, and I found that when you have that attitude of openness, of humility, and that intention to surround yourself with good people will be drawn to that intention. Things happen where you are aligned with the right people who come into your experience, and it's almost like you don't even need to plan your days. People include you as a part of their plan. You become a part of other families, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, according to Harvard University's happiness researcher Arthur Brooks, family and friends make up 50% of his 4 pillars of happiness. My family is very far away in Washington, D.C. and different parts of the world, but I feel like I have family here now. So when you are living from your place of purpose and alignment, you will be attracting others who are also living in a similar manner, and vice versa. Like is drawn to like. And you're able to gather wonderful, inspiring ideas from these individuals to apply in your own sector of business or field of work, even if you're in a completely different field, because the principles still apply and they're living at their highest creative potentials. Right? So we are able to routinely hold each other accountable to the things we said we'd do. And if I ever show up in a way that's less than my highest sense of integrity, or I notice somebody showing up in a way that is less than what I know to be their highest sense of integrity, we call each other out on that in a loving way. That's true friendship.
Hey, brother.
Even though I came here not knowing a single person, when I talk to my friends and family back home and they ask me, so when are you coming back? I kind of have to be like, well, I feel like I have family here now. And that's such a beautiful gift. It makes me really emotional to think about just the incredibly joyful experiences and community that you form that becomes like family when you're living with your heart open and trusting and showing up as your authentic self. You can just connect at such a deeper level with people, and they become like family. Here's just a thank you to everyone in Bali that has become a true friend. Really, this experience, it wouldn't be the same without you, so thank you. Number 5, move at a pace that feels right for you. When I was a younger entrepreneur, I used to believe that working faster, harder, longer hours, that these were the keys for me to get the advantage and move ahead faster to accomplish what needs to get done. But as I got wiser, I learned about a wonderful Japanese concept called oibaitori. Probably isn't pronounced like that, but it's spelled like that. It means everything flowers at its own pace. So if you look at every animal, every plant, every living thing, the universe, right? Everything has been given a harmonious pace to express its beauty through. What is your harmonious pace? A pace that is neither lazy nor slothful, nor is it rushed. You can be steady, harmonious and smooth at this pace, right? A pace that allows you to enjoy the view, to not miss the opportunities, to breathe deeply as you work and flow through life. Now, I remind myself of these 4 truths whenever I feel rushed. The first one is if I'm feeling rushed, then someone or something must be pushing me. And that's not a great move if I'm moving from a place of feeling pushed, right? I'm not going to be at my best. Number 2 is there's nowhere to rush to. Imagine that life was one long continuous day. Oftentimes we put these deadlines upon ourselves. Oftentimes we set these timelines up that we self-select into. But what if we looked at life as one long day? Then where are we rushing to? And what if we got with the idea that there's always tomorrow and I don't need to sacrifice my inner peace in order to get this thing done? There's always tomorrow. Number 3, if I'm not enjoying the process of getting there, then what is the point? Can I bring more enjoyment into the process? Because think about it. If we think we're going to feel happy once we get to the proverbial there, promised land, right, then we'll be happy. And so we're trying to rush to that place, but in the process, we're sacrificing our inner peace, our mental health, etc. Then are we really going to achieve that promised land? Because if the means are the ends and the means are not infused with joy or gratitude, then what do you think the ends is going to be like? Number 4, think to yourself, I've already succeeded. What if you have that mentality? It's already done. Success has already been determined. If that's the viewpoint, if that's the belief, then I'm just here to find the most efficient path to what I know has already been accomplished. It removes the stress and the sense of rushing away from me. And what I'm looking for is the most precise paths to get to the destination that I already know is the outcome. Success that comes from forcing a fit will bring with it misaligned results, and success that comes from alignment to your purpose will bring about aligned results. As it says in Proverbs, the blessing of the Lord brings true riches, and he adds no sorrow to it. If you can't make a leap of faith in the direction of your purpose, then take a step of faith. Slow it down, one step at a time, and you will see that the path will reveal itself to you with each successive step that you take. Number 6, live life with purpose and service. In Arthur Brooks's book, Build the Life You Want, The Art and Science of Getting Happier, he writes that when it comes to work, there's only 2 things that really bring us satisfaction. The first is that your good work is being rewarded, and the second is that the work you do is helping people. Here's how I define purpose. It's living life aligned with your interests, gifts, talents, and inner calling in a way that brings value, ease, joy, freedom, or quality to people's experiences. Now, when you work from this power, you will feel like there's a greater power supporting you, guiding you, assisting you, inspiring you along your journey. As Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutras, when some great purpose inspires you, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bounds. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a much more remarkable person, far more than you ever dreamed yourself to be. If you're not quite in a place where you're ready to fully lean into your life's purpose, and you'd like to be, get in touch so that we can identify what is holding you back. And together, we can help chart a course for you to achieve your absolute potential in the field that you are inspired and passionate about. I look forward to working with you. Number 7, it's easy to lose your sense of joy or gratitude if you're not living out your purpose with a sense of balance. And what I mean by this is, I once ran a nonprofit that strove to bring mental health resources to children of the world who had just no access to mental health tools. So children of conflict, of violence, of natural disasters, various forms of traumas that have been inflicted upon them. Now, in the course of setting up this organization and implementing our mission, I worked long hours. I felt like I needed to do it because the needs were so great. I worked at a tremendous pace. We were taking on monumental projects in different parts of the world where, the challenge was very deep. And so it felt very pressing all the time, and conflicts and crises were always popping up that we felt that we needed to respond to. So in this case, I had the purpose and service down, but what I didn't have was the balance. And so while the work was important, because I wasn't doing it in a balanced way, I started to resent it. I started to get burnt out. I started to get frustrated. And I had to learn how to implement balance into my life with work cutoff times and remind myself, for example, I had to do this pretty strictly at first, 6 o'clock cutoff time. Unless it's, of course, the special circumstances, right? Very limited circumstances or special events. But 6 o'clock comes, it's cutoff times. There's always going to be tomorrow. And you know what? There's always going to be a need. There's always going to be something else that pops up. It's so important that we understand that our identity is so much more than our work. Our identity has so many other aspects to it that get to be nourished. And if we're sitting at the desk all day, if we're working tremendous hours every day and not nourishing the other parts of us, those other parts are going to feel neglected, and resentment is going to come up. Burnout is going to come up. So just being mindful that whatever you do as you carry out your purpose and your service, do it in a way that is balanced. Do things that are joyful for you. At least one joyful thing for you every day is the advice that I give to my clients. This can be anything from a walk to an energizing workout to painting class, meditation, listening to music, treating yourself to a nice meal, whatever it is that you feel you deserve, you are worth it. I promise you, you are worth it, and you will thank yourself. And this also sets a precedent that you matter, and living purposely and in a balanced way, make sure that your gifts and your talents will be replenished and refreshed so that they can be used in optimal service to another. Remember, your gifts will be best offered when you're offering from your cup's overflow, but you cannot offer your gifts if you're giving from an empty cup. So take care of yourself. Before I get to the 8th point, what do you do in your life that adds gratitude and sense of joy in your day-to-day experience? Go ahead and put it in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Number 8, can you center God in your life? Now, my own journey into faith was a long one, but when I rooted myself in it finally, it transformed and brought healing of all kinds into my life. Perhaps one day I'll share my own journey into faith. If that's something that would be of interest to you, let me know and I'll consider sharing that story. When you center God's loving presence in your life, something wonderful begins to happen. Your burdens are uplifted, for we realize we don't have to go about it alone. Your peace is strengthened and expanded upon. Blessings will flow into your life. You are guided. Your intuition becomes that much more stronger and precise. You really sense that you are taken care of and protected by a presence that is so comforting and strong. God whispers uplifting ideas and comforting thoughts into the ears of those who love Him in the form of intuition or guidance. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver and honor him. With long life shall I satisfy him and show him my salvation. As the Apostle Paul shares with us in Romans 8:28, in all things God works for the good of those who love him, those who have been called according to his purpose. God is always there, waiting on us to begin the conversation.
I hope you enjoyed this video. In fact, if we take a moment right now to think about all the things that we're grateful for, just list out about 5 of them, what would they be? And as you list those 5 out, just notice how your feelings inside begin to change, right? You're gonna start to feel much better about yourself. And try doing this every morning. Before you think any thought, just express 5 things that you're grateful for. And notice how the rest of your morning and your day starts to change the more that you do this. Because what we appreciate in our life appreciates in our life. Until next time, may peace be with you.